Hello, everyone. Today, again, we are discussing some of the interesting topic related to Scrum Master. I keep saying it's a Scrum Master interview series, but it's not necessary that we look at these discussion only from the perspective of interview. I think it's just a conversation around some of the topics which might get asked in the interview as well. So we have one of the professional who is willing to talk about some of the question which he has faced in the recent interviews. Maybe you want to give a brief and then we get started with your questions.
Okay, hi Saket. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. So I have been lately giving a few interviews and I have come across a few questions. Certainly, those are good questions, and I see that there are some strong questions as well on
Mm-hmm.
how we as new Scrum Masters actually deal with.
Okay.
So I face this challenge at times, like how we can express ourselves in those situations so that
Oh,
things go well, so that we don't appear to be very decisive as a Scrum Master. So we
okay.
want to be as neutral as possible.
Okay. Let's
Okay.
explore. Yeah, let's explore. Let's pick up something and then and see what probably we may want to do. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Um, okay. I have prepared a list of questions. I think I'll go by the sequence. Okay. So
Great.
let's say generally what happens is some interviewers, the people know that facilitation is the primary goal of a Scrum Master, so that he can enable the team in order to deliver. Okay? So generally people ask, share the daily schedule, share your daily schedule as a Scrum Master. Okay. As Scrum Masters, we know that yes, the day is quite busy because you are communicating with the team, with the product owners. Okay. But in order to share, like, what is the what is a typical day of a Scrum Master, it gets a little difficult at times in order to answer that question.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
how, how I generally try to answer is I try to say that first part of my day, I generally start early so that I am a step ahead of my team. Okay, I start with the emails, the dashboards, reviewing the dashboards how the team is progressing. Plus, then we jump onto the Scrum events ceremonies. Then I have interactions with the product owner, and the last part is taking up items which where I'm contributing towards a larger transformation initiative within the organization. That's how I try to frame my question. Uh, this has been a fairly successful. But any other recommendations that you have, how we need to frame this
Mm-hmm.
answer?
Mm-hmm. So in your view, what might be the interviewer is trying to test or extract by asking this question?
So what I feel is the interviewer might try to see how do we keep the Scrum Master 8 hours busy.
Okay.
That could be one perspective. Okay,
Uh-huh. What else?
there could be there could be another perspective. They want to test the waters of the Scrum Master. Is
Mm-hmm.
he just an operational guy that he's just resolving the issues, or is he taking other initiatives as well, or is he a forward going person or not?
Mm-hmm.
That can be another perspective. Those
Perfect.
are the two things that I generally think. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe the first one will taken care if we take care of a second well. Is it like, when
Yes.
we, yeah. So in my understanding and my guess is more aligned with the second perspective which you are bringing in. See,
Mhm.
as a particular role or a particular title will have a different meaning for different organizations. And
Right.
when somebody tells, I'm working as a Scrum Master, I may get a 30-40% clarity of what this guy might be doing. But when I
Mhm.
understand his complete day, I might know what his title includes other than basic Scrum things.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I think
Right.
the interviewer is trying to extract what you really do to perform, to facilitate your team to become an effective team. So how are you making them high performing? How are you helping them grow and deliver something which they are expected to do? Now, looking at that goal in mind, the second is the
Mhm.
type of activities you do as a Scrum Master. It also reflect the health of your team. So, for example,
Right.
if you end up saying, I end up reminding everybody to update the Jira board. So it tells
Mhm.
something about what is happening in your team. Yeah. If you
Correct.
tells, we
Okay.
have always some conflicts coming in, so I end up resolving the conflict. So whatever you
Mhm.
tell, it also tells what might be happening in your team.
Okay. Okay. Giving
So
examples.
yeah, no, even when you tell, the person may
Mhm.
interpret that, okay, your team might be facing this challenge.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
so
Okay.
it
Understood.
also ultimately tell about your Scrum Master effectiveness. So when you say, I remind people to update Zira, so it tells something that, okay, looks like they are very basic. This team is still struggling with the fundamental issues like, okay, keeping everybody transparent. And this guy
Mhm.
is just working at a superficial level because they have not crossed the first boundary. They are still struggling
Right.
with just updating the
Mhm.
status. They have yet to figure out how do they collaborate and create a high performing team. Now,
Right.
in
Right.
your mind, you have
Absolutely.
given the answer, but it also
Mhm.
give what might be happening in that particular team. So my
Oh, okay.
advice is, yeah, are you like getting something, yeah, based on what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Yes. Yes. Certainly. Certainly. Yeah. 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 I'm trying to get another perspective now.
Yeah. So my advice is, whatever answer you do, you look
Mhm.
into those activities and see when those activities falls under Scrum Master kitties, like when the team
Mhm.
is poorly performing or when the team is high performing. So you look at those activities and reflect on that angle. The second thing you also see that, in a way related, what might
Mhm.
be a team stage or team health or team attitude which makes a Scrum Master consuming or spending this much time in this thing. you know so for example,
Okay.
you say, I end up talking to the product owner, understanding what he needs. So it gives a
Mhm.
sense that team might not be talking to the product owner. Scrum Master is the intermediator in this particular team,
Okay.
where he's the one who goes and understand the requirement, and probably he's the one who explains this requirement to the development team.
Mhm.
So it's
Okay.
very tricky. It's very tricky. And again, uh, uh, they also want to see what kind of Scrum Master they are looking for. Yeah. So
Okay. Okay.
maybe you need to craft the answer looking at something what you do. Maybe
Mhm.
there could be some activities which are not taking that much time right now, but you may want to expand them further and see how possibly these things goes. So for example, you may have an activity that on in general, every alternate day, I have a one-on-one schedule with my one of the team member. We spend half an hour and talk about how things are going. Now, if you do that activity, if you talk about that, it shows something about the team. So you doing
Mhm.
101, you are preparing for that 101, you are looking at what happened in the previous 101, what action has been agreed, what progress has been
Right.
made, and then you are having conversation. So this whole thing, maybe you do half an hour 101, but you do a preparation for half an hour 101. And this may become a
Okay.
1 hour activity which might be happening on daily basis or alternate basis.
Mhm.
So, but
One
that is,
individual every day, maybe. Mhm.
yeah, so you may have say 10 members or 9 members in the team, and you may say,
Mhm.
in general, once an iteration everybody gets a chance to do. We have
Absolutely.
iteration level 101, so we know how we are moving towards the thing, something like this. So it's a different quality of work. Now the another quality of another I think extreme could be that I just remind people that they have updated the task boards or not. If they have not updated it, I take the data and then I remind them, I send them the alerts that, guys, you need to update it before our daily scrum. That's another
Mhm.
extreme, and I am not saying it's a good or bad. Many scrum masters end up doing that, but maybe interviewer feels, okay, they are still struggling to update the Zira.
Okay. 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 Understood. Understood. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then
Okay.
you can
So I
think
need to,
of,
yeah, I got another perspective of what the interviewer might be thinking. He might be
yeah,
trying to assess the team as well, uh, so that he could assess the Scrum Master better.
yes,
Yeah.
because the team
Yeah.
health represent your like effectiveness. Because my effectiveness as a Scrum Master
Right. Right.
can only be judged by looking at the effectiveness of the team. Yeah.
Team.
May
Certainly.
include
Certainly.
things like, if you are doing something you spoke about, like I remain involved in organization level thing. So if you bring
Mhm.
that activity, for example, if you are working in a multi-team context, so you may have some
Right.
set of things where you focus on what is happening in other teams. preparing for
Absolutely.
Scrum of Scrum, or doing some preparation there. So that itself,
Mhm.
if you talk about it, the interviewer gets, okay, this guy is working in a multi-team environment, or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you
Mhm.
talk about, we also have once in a month some community event, and we end up doing, we have a Scrum Master community of practice, and I have some duty towards that also. You talk about that, then also it shows that, okay, Scrum Master is doing something there as well.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this is one thing which I can include, because we have recently started. So we are inheriting some practices from Spotify as well. It's not like
Mm-hmm.
we are directly following the Spotify, but we have found chapters to be a good concept. So we are starting
Mm-hmm.
with chapters. So we have an iOS chapter, one Android chapter, one chapter for the Scrum Masters as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So just
Okay.
carefully craft something which can relate to your current work. There could be some of the activities you believe you might be doing, but you feel that sharing those activities may look risky. You may wanna devalue them rather than giving them too much attention, and
Mhm.
create a plan ready in your mind, which is aligning with your aspiring kind of a Scrum Master job you are looking for. Yeah, because it's not
Okay.
right and wrong. They are also judging, is this guy fit in what we are doing, so they may feel
Mhm.
also reverse, oh, this guy is at a different level, we might not need him. Yeah. So,
Okay.
but it should match with your aspirational profile as well. Yeah.
Okay. 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 Thank you, Saket. So this was quite detailed, and I certainly agree to your thoughts. Okay.
Hmm.
So in conjunction to this only, so I actually have another question. You talked about type of Scrum Master they're looking forward with. Okay. So, I would say, like, as a full-time Scrum Master, so this is my second year. I'm completing the second year. Okay. So, uh, and fortunately, I have worked with product teams as of now. Okay, so I have been client side all the time, and I have found it very easy in terms of communicating with the product owners on how we can make sure that the team understands the backlog and produces. Okay, but now when I try to give interviews, so I'm in Abu Dhabi right now, so I'd be returning
Hmm.
for returning. So in India, most of the organizations are service based. Okay, and the product owners are from the client side. Okay, so in these cases, so being service organizations, so what happens is, many people actually ask, okay, that how do you deal with a situation where the client is actually forcing that, yes, this delivery has to be done even after the sprint planning was done. Okay, how are you ensuring that these deliveries are taken care of without making without actually impacting the delivery? Okay, so this situation, so I have not personally dealt with.
Hmm.
I have seen such situation when I was working as part of a development team. So we used to work for like 16 hours a day, but
Hmm.
certainly that is not healthy, right? So as a Scrum Master, so it becomes a little tough for me, because it becomes a little tough for me in order to say how do I deal with a situation where I am a service-based organization. I have my development team of my service organization, and the client is just the product owner is from the client side. So this is very difficult question to answer as a Scrum
Sure.
Master.
Sure. So what I see here is, one is a reality, and another is how do we balance our answer so that we don't look too idealistic, as well as it doesn't look that we will just get carried away in the situation and unable to take care of our team. So we need to find a balancing act, and that is what I think most of the vendors, most of the service providers end up doing. Technically
Mhm.
speaking, if I am the vendor, I might be getting money on the basis of month, not basis of an hours. And if my people are working double the hours, technically I'm losing money. My people are
Right.
getting like dissatisfied, but my money remains the same. So as a service provider, also it is not something which I want to do if I see in that perspective as well.
Right.
But at the same time, I need to keep that customer with me also. I should not have a Scrum Master who end up just saying, this is not possible. So I need to have a Scrum Master who can work with such guys and help them to appreciate the balancing act, so that the project also runs healthy, and our people also not get burned out, or maybe it takes the desired amount of time, so these guys also get a desired amount of money. So that's a kind of goal a person might be looking at. So we need to say, okay, how do I achieve that? Yeah. So that's how the question I think we should look into. Now, how probably we do that? It's primarily about expectation management, stakeholder management question. It's always there. Sometimes you have this situation, or sometimes you have another situation, but it's all about one stakeholder is looking for something, and you need to manage his expectation. Yeah. Now, how do you manage his expectation? One of the way is, first you relate to the person, make him understand the pain of the
Okay.
other person. So it's more about you empathizing with customer, you empathizing with product
Mhm.
owner, and making product owner empathize with you and your development team. Because creating
Mhm.
a sense that only by empathizing with each other we can achieve something which we want to achieve, because it's a creative process. You can't push me
Right.
to until unless it's a very fundamental thing and people just need to do click click click, so then people can get pushed and they may produce something. But if it's a creative work where you need to think and code and debug, then pushing may not produce the result, engagement produce the result. So if I care for it,
No.
yeah, I will definitely do it. So as an answer, I need to find out how do I create that engagement and buy-in for different parties. And there is no one process. Yeah, there is, it depends upon who is sitting next and how do I achieve that. And I also work on, if we don't achieve the one team feeling, if you keep saying product owner is someone else, scrum master is someone else, then ultimately it will not achieve agility. People will find their own ways. There are people who, there are development companies who might work half the time, and they say they have worked full time. So there could be a
Mm.
situations also where teams are not available after half a day, but they say they are available for the full day, because the product owner who is sitting at a client side might be sleeping during that time because it's a time zone difference. So it's very difficult to run the show without having transparency and trust. So what I would say is that I make things transparent. I make consequences of such changes visible. I do
Mhm.
empathize with the customer. I don't say no, because I need to understand from where the person is coming up. And I do see there could be situations where we need to do that. We need to work for 17 hours in some situations, but not every other day. If it happens
Right.
every other day, then people will also find their own path. They are not expected to stick to a given thing. So
Mm.
it's a balancing act. So
Correct.
maybe you now, if you need to answer it, maybe you find from your experience some amount of stakeholder management problem which you might have faced, where you
Mhm.
apply this balancing act. Yeah. So because
Okay.
else it will become little generic. You are saying it's a philosophy, but have you ever done it? So, but again,
Ye-
whatever you have done, it will not matter much, because you might have done with a person A, and here you are dealing with a person B, and person A and person B is not going to respond in a similar way. Yeah, and you had a team A before, now you have a team B. So
Mhm.
these teams are also different, so everything is different. I think many people just want to know, have you ever done it, to sense that, okay, how possibly you have approached a situation in a given point in time. So my
Okay.
recommendation,
Okay.
if I summarize, focus on expectation management, focus on creating empathy as a philosophy. Don't tell that
Mhm.
this will work. You say, no, I don't know, I need to explore. And there is no one solution. It's not like that we will do a one meeting and everything will be fixed. There is nothing like that.
Mhm.
And in order to substantiate that you have dealt with such kind of expectation management problem, bring a story, bring a situation where you talk about that this has happened before. So I have done like this, and I believe in empathy and customer expectation management. And based on these two belief and my previous experience, I will work with the team and product owner, and then only I can find out what probably will work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I completely agree. Okay. So I have faced this kind of situation. So when the product owner is actually part of the team. Okay. So certainly there are negotiations which happen. The
Mhm.
team certainly comes up with the best solution, and I've seen live examples of that. The
Yeah.
team even recommends the product owner that out of these four items which we have to do, you can select just we can certainly complete two. Choose the topmost two that you want.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
those kinds of situations certainly happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a perfect example. And maybe you want to tag it and add it. When you share your need and detail of your problem, then we can solve it. But if you just say, do this also, then I can't solve it, because I'm not getting what makes you say that. So I want to understand
Right.
what are the reasons which are making product owner to say what he's saying, do what he's doing. And then as a team, we try to find out how we can take care of his pain without getting in trouble for ourselves also. So it's like, we will solve your problem. Let's be open about your problem, and let's work together so that we can find out and empathize with each other so that we can find out what works best for us. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm, one general question, Saket, if you could help me. Okay. When we look for these job posts, okay, job descriptions, okay,
Mm-hmm.
people actually look for domain expertise as a Scrum Master. Okay. So if I talk about, so I've worked on 3 domains so far. Okay. Throughout my Scrum Master career, and I don't think it's quite so domain do not play a super huge role. Okay, I have worked on finance, I have worked on cybersecurity, and also I have worked on retail. Okay, so I was fairly able to handle. Okay, so now I'm also a little inclined towards data. Okay, so I want to try. I have been trying one tool related to business intelligence. Okay, so there are openings related to Scrum Master role required with experience in business intelligence, data analytics. Okay, but I generally feel like they keep it very domain heavy. These job descriptions are quite domain heavy. So it's actually difficult to actually get our resume selected. Plus, also if I even if I jump onto an interview, it's very difficult to convince.
Mm-hmm.
How do you
Mm-hmm.
think you handle this situation?
So it's more about the mentality of the organization. And I say it's difficult, or I would or you need to find out the appropriate organization who might not be putting that much stress on that area. So
Okay.
there are organization who would may want to get something other than the normal, say, like planning, coordination, and inspection, and adoption, and taking care of a team job. So they may want something more from the person. Yeah, so that's the possibility. For example, they may be looking for that this person should be able to help the product owner also by way of writing some set of user story, or by facilitating demos and other stuff. So when they look for that, they start looking for the specific field experience. Now you find these two kind of thought processes. One is, some set of companies are going for domain, and some set of companies are going for technical knowledge. So they feel, my developer might be facing some situation, so we don't have skilled developers or too much skilled developers, so this guy should be work as a skilled developer as well, so that he might be able to guide our development team whenever they get stuck. So these two type of need you may see in the market. And I think it's up to the person who is looking for this job. Because see, the title Scrum Master, not necessarily just the role Scrum Master, as explained in the Scrum body of knowledge. It
Mhm.
is something more than that role. Yeah. Or it could be a plus plus based on what the organization is needing for. And this problem was always there. It is nothing to do with Scrum Master. It was there when we were looking for project management profiles also.
Project
So you
managers
had
as
a
well. Yes.
finance project manager, analytical project managers, and all those .NET project managers and Java project managers. So you had those kind
Mhm.
of a requirement. But
Right.
personal observation I have is that usually the interviewer may not get into those details of the domain and all. And they ask for it, and it also depends what all is available in the market. So many time I
Mhm.
may want to have a person from finance background for me as a Scrum Master, because I'm a financial domain company. But I may look
Mhm.
at if I don't get a guy from a financial domain. So like, sometime when the supply of the profiles are more than the jobs, then these things may
Demand.
become tricky. Yeah, yeah. Then these things may become tricky. But there are situations where people were looking for financial domain Scrum Master, but they end up taking the Scrum Master which could suits the best. So this information, I feel that you should not stop yourself from applying for it. Maybe look for a wait so that your CV get shortlisted, because there could be a probability, even if the requirement was talking about the particular domain, but you may pass through. So that's the one possibility. The second possibility is, I have seen in this is like what I have seen in my experience. People might have something else to share as well, that a lot of recruitment happens through that internal thing, referral stuff. So if they get a reference of a scrum master from their employee thing, then they may consider even without domain also. So many organizations give little preference to the employee reference thing. So that could be the another thing, where if you have a position in hand and you are looking for, and if you have some connection in that particular organization, you may want to follow a referral path. So that is also a possible path to overcome this hurdle. Yeah.
Exploring it, yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Mm, one actually personal question I have,
Mhm.
although I have been dealing with this. So as a Scrum Master, how do we keep ourselves motivated?
Mhm. Mhm.
So it's the Scrum Master's duty is to actually empower, keep the team motivated, keep the team engaged, right? Yeah, empowering the team to get the things done. Okay, as a Scrum Master, so I felt about this role because I liked helping people. Okay, I liked enabling people. Okay, I liked delegating responsibilities so that we can actually take up newer responsibilities. Okay, I actually see when you see other people grow, you will get that happiness inside, right? So when we do when we have something, if we see something better going on, this certainly brings in a joy. But how as a Scrum Master we keep ourselves constantly motivated?
I think I just go with what you said.
Yeah,
Primarily, if you do something which you care for, you remain
yeah,
motivated. Yeah. So
yeah,
I believe if I enjoy, I am not doing it because my boss is liking it. I'm not doing it because I have a KPI to do it, because the KPI and boss things will be always having a limit. So if
yeah,
you see that I am in a profession which matches with my interest, then I remain motivated. Each problem is a challenge for me, it's a learning opportunity for me. So you can say that, as the way you said, that you like working with people, you like mentoring and coaching people. You see that, okay, how can they grow in their technical as well as managerial skills. So that is your passion, and you enjoy if you see, if that happens. You see, you might
yeah,
have seen someone growing from a stage to B stage, and you have been contributing some part of your time in that particular journey, and when you see that happening, it motivates you. So you can say
right.
that the whole idea, the way I see professional motivation, it is not only about Scrum Master, it could be any
Mhm.
professional motivation. So I see there are in general two things which keeps the people motivated, as per my understanding. One thing is that I care for what I am doing. So I align with my nature, my interest, my attitude is aligned with my particular job. So like people management and all. So you like that. And then the second thing is, you see the impact of it, which is like a feedback loop. So you like talking, mentoring, coaching people. So that's why I do that. And when I see the impact of coaching, mentoring, teaching people, which helps me, like people growing, people finding a better say projects or assignments, and they could do something which they have never done before, then it gives you another feedback loop. So you start with your interest, and then you do something, you see an impact, and that circle continues. So that's how I feel an individual motivation might work. If you don't see an impact happening, then it may start demotivating you. And it
Mm.
might be a kind of, rather than a word demotivating, it might be a reflection point for you also, because looks like you are interested in that subject and you are coaching and mentoring, but nothing is happening after your coaching. So you
Right,
may
right.
start reflecting on that, okay, looks like I need to do something differently, because things are not figuring, like coming as I expected. So many end up finding and fixing that problem. Many end up finding that they were not that much passionate about that interest. They may find something else to do. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Absolutely. Okay. Okay. Moving on. This is another item. So certainly as as a Scrum Master, so it is often asked, how do you ensure data sanity? Okay. So how do you ensure that the data is actually correct?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever your Scrum boards, the dashboards, or any Jira other filters that you're using is actually correct. Okay. My general answer in this case, generally, so I've seen, so when we, so first it starts with step zero would be setting up the working agreements with the team.
Mm-hmm.
That yes,
Mm-hmm.
we as team members, we ensure that these data actually talks about what the current status is. Okay, so that the data do not have multiple versions. So if data is speaking something else and the current state is something else, then this is not good. So we set up working agreements that this is how we do things. Okay, and also if we have set something working agreement, we ensure that everyone actually knows and follows the working agreement.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
this following the working agreements would be based on a motivation that we create. Okay, not
Mm-hmm.
by force. Okay, and at times we as Scrum Masters, we need to remind people. So not everyone at every time follows those things, right? So as Scrum Masters, we need to ensure that we keep reminding at times if needed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and also some people actually ask, how do you how do you ensure that the data is actually speaking the truth? At times we see that we have committed a lot and we are delivering 30% of what we have committed. It happens. Okay, what I generally try to answer is that if we have failed in that sprint, okay, let the data speak that we failed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so in those cases, I actually try to say that even if the data is correct, let it be correct, and let's be courageous enough to say that yes, we failed.
Mm-hmm.
I actually feel little
Good.
hesitation in terms of reaction. So if I
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
the non-verbal cues of the interviewer, so I see that the person is not quite ready to accept that.
Yeah. Yeah. Good.
How,
Good. 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 Good.
how like how do I handle that? Like this may result into an unsuccessful interview.
Yeah.
So
So see, the data sanity, and I go back to the day job of a Scrum Master, and I spoke about that there could be a part of the job which is only about making people update things. Yeah.
yeah.
And you can relate to it that in a many, I think when we are still maturing in our way of doing, the
Mhm.
first stage is data maturity, because in initial stages you will like and I think the good percentage of organizations are still there only, where we still struggle to ensure that we have a single source of truth. There is always
Right.
multiple source, yeah, or there is always confusion. So the transparency which is needed is something, is a starting point. Now that's we understand, and the challenge also remains, people don't want to update anything because first they don't see a value in it. Second, they may feel this is more about trouble for me rather than any benefit for me, because if I say that it will take 2 more days, I may get called today only. At least I can enjoy 2 days, and then I will see what happens. Maybe by that time some impediment will come and I don't have to tell that this was a delay from my side. Someone else may become responsible for it. So there could be various
Mhm.
issues. Yeah, there could be various issues which might become a motivation of not updating the data,
Okay.
not keeping
Mhm.
people transparent. So what we need to see is, what is the issue, what are the benefit of not updating. Yeah. And what
Mhm.
one of the benefit individuals might be getting, even if they are not healthy benefits, but they are benefits. So what benefits an individuals might be getting by not updating it, and still, especially when we are in a, I would say, a remote and distributed world right now, it's all about electronic data because we hardly have a face-to-face interaction nowadays. So it's about that. So we understand that. And then we also need to understand what might be the person losing because of not updating the data. So
Mhm.
we need to find out a balance which ensures the loss is higher than the benefits. Yeah. So I might get a benefit that, okay, I can enjoy 2 days, but I must be losing more thing by not updating the data. So I, as a designer of that system, or a facilitator of that system, should need to come up with a clarity that the consequences which a team or individual suffer because of not having transparent information should be understood well, so that people start caring for it, and these consequences should be higher than the hidden benefit. Hidden benefit could be a casual approach, could be that I really don't want to do it, it takes time to do it. So whatever hidden benefit people may have, they should be undermined, they should not be focused on. Yeah, we need to see for the higher purpose. So that's the one thing which is kind of a root cause problem of it. Yeah, and this is not a problem of only project management, it's everywhere. Yeah, even you talk about customer relationship management, CRM systems, a
Mhm.
good percent of CRM system fails because nobody puts the data in it, so people don't want to maintain a data about, like, the sales guys and marketing people, they don't want to maintain a data of their customers. Yeah, well, and when
Mhm.
they don't maintain, the CRM system produce nothing. Yeah, so it is
Yeah.
a problem there. It's problem in a project management, it's the problem in a product management, and this is an initial thing. But again, the successful organization, that problem has been overcome, because only
Right.
by then the decision makers, the people who need to do something based on that, they can look at it, they can make the decision based on available latest information at a faster pace, because they know what is happening. I can decide my strategy because I can analyze what is happening. So there is a value of that transparency. But yeah, it requires a selling first to get there. That's the one point I will start with. The second point which
Mhm.
I look here is, make that data a source of all your conversation. Because many times what happens is, I might be relying something which is told on the daily scrum, and not focusing on what is there on my board. Yeah,
Right.
so now I have a two source of information, and I
Mhm.
only care about what is discussed there, but I don't care about what is there. Now if that
Mhm.
happens over a period of time, within a day or two, the second information will become obsolete. So whenever someone, and this is true for the developer also, so there are two developers, I want to know where this particular task is, so that I can plan my tomorrow's work. If I rely on, I give a call and ask to the person, and I rely on the general conversation, it's okay, but then the data will not get updated. So if I want to look at the system and I start using information extraction, now again, it may look like we are reducing individual interaction. That's not the goal, but we are bringing an agreement, as you said, working agreement in place. So if I, as a developer, plan my day based on the board I see, where I can see others works also, and if all the other developers also start doing it, the board quality will improve, because when I am planning my work, I am also sharing my work. If people have their
Mhm.
own isolated planning process, someone plans in their mind, someone plans in somewhere, and there is no
Mhm.
integration of it, then there will be a difficult someone really seeing a value of it, because everybody has their own Excel book or notebook or something, or a sticky board where they have written what they need to do, and nobody else knows about it. They may talk about it whenever you call them, but yeah, in a digital space, this is
Mhm.
becoming more and more difficult. So a second thing which I will put here. So first is, we understand what are the benefits people might be getting by not showing what is happening, and we also
Right.
see the positive benefits they may get because of updating what they are doing, and we work on that. The second thing is, I make those dashboards, those information, as a centerpiece of information exchange, center place for decision making, center place of looking at where are we. So we make those data usable, rather than just put the data and store it, and then at the end of a week we will see how the burn down looks like. So that's just a administrative or accounting kind of a job. We need to focus on making it real time and usable real time. So when I start making it usable real time, like before the daily scrum, I look at the board, I prepare, I identify where are the issues which I may want to ask some questions, and what is the status of impediment. I update everything, and then I go for a daily scrum. So it's like this, that all the conversation, I as a scrum master is also clear, and I may ask few specific question based on, even if they not appear in the discussion, but I ask based on the data. So when I prepare half an hour before the daily scrum using the data, over a period of time, everybody will look into it, something like that. So use it
Absolutely.
and make people also use it. Yeah,
Okay.
then only it will remain fresh. Yeah, else it will get
Right.
obsolete very soon. Yeah, yeah,
We have to increase the usability of the data.
yeah. Visibility, usability, and I would say viability. Yeah, that.
Yeah.
Yeah, these
Right.
things. Yeah, we need to increase. Yeah, yeah,
Okay. Yeah. Good thoughts. Certainly. I like the benefits part that you
yeah,
talked about. Okay.
The people have hidden benefits. We
Certainly.
end up
Certainly.
missing that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Mm, I think I'll take I'll move on to my last question that I have. Okay.
Good. Yeah. Tell me.
Uh, so one one thing we have actually seen, okay, that we talk about this elephant in the room concept, right?
Mm-hmm.
We know that there's a problem, but nobody wants to speak about it. Okay? As a Scrum Master, okay, I do not have any specific example for this, but I've seen at times there are problems going on, but people do not speak about them. They hesitate sharing. Okay, how we as Scrum Masters, like we empower people in order to speak out. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so what
Mm-hmm.
happens? So in these case, yeah, so I don't have an example as such, but certainly these things which we see in organizations because of some politics. I know that there are some when what happens is at times when an external member, external stakeholder actually joins in, it becomes a different scenario altogether in the team. Okay, the actual chemistry within the team gets lost.
Mm-hmm.
So how do
So
we deal with
question
that?
is, so if I repeat your question and based on what I understand, is that someone asks you, how do you make people talk about uncomfortable issues, or do you have a situation where you had something and you could sense that people don't want to talk about it? It's like an elephant in the room. Yeah.
Right. Yes.
Okay. So I go back to the similar thoughts which we had in a previous discussion as well. Why people are not talking? So there could be, as you said, a fear. I don't want to get into a trouble. Maybe I don't want to make a political enemy because of political stuff. That could be, or maybe I don't care about it. Yeah, that's also a
Okay.
possible. I don't care. No, why should I worry about it? Or I am hopeless about it. Even if I talk about it, I know nothing is going to happen. Yeah. So there could be multiple things. Yeah. So is it the people are afraid? Are they really politically knowing and keeping it silent, or they are hopeless about it? And I feel the
Okay.
hopeless problem might be the bigger problem because they may believe, or they don't care about it. So if I see something like that, I need to find out why people are not raising that. Now, the second thing is who is losing because of that dysfunction. We just call it a dysfunction. Many times, the people may not feel that they are losing it because that's why they don't talk about it. Or even if they know that they are losing it, they may not see the complete magnitude of the impact which is happening on them. So, for example, we may have an observation that the one set of team members, you have a client representative, or there are different type of people in the room, in the team, and they don't collaborate well with each other, and nobody wants to talk about it. You take it as a granted. This is how it is, and we just work with it. But you as a development team member, as an overall team, may not understand how this not talking about it and not solving this problem is becoming a trouble for you. You end up maybe working more, you end up producing less, you may end up doing rework. There is a so much defect comes at a later stage, which could have been avoided if we had a healthy conversation in the beginning. And people may not like working on the same code again and again. Who wants to do a rework? So they may not realize that this whole thing is impacting them as well. So what my approach would be is first to see why people are not bringing this out and what is an impact. Now, once I get these two ideas at some extent, I try to work on both dimensions. I try to work on the area where which people start, which is blocking people to bring it out. So it's a fear. I try to reduce the fear. If they don't care, I try to create care in them. If they feel nothing can be done, I need to show things can change if we take a proper initiative. So I work on the space which is like a root of these problem, and then I also try to quantify, make it visible, the impact such kind of dysfunctions are making on the team. Now, how can I do that? I can probably run a particular retrospective, which can be facilitated to expose these issues, or I may look for some opportunities when these things becomes little evident. They surface, sometimes they surface. So small conflict, small issue which customer has raised. So there will be opportunities which keeps coming and going, small opportunity. I may pick up one opportunity and expand it and bring this discussion in place. So like I as a leader have been doing these two. So I work, I do utilize opportunities, conflicts. Whenever some conflict happens, I look into, okay, we can resolve this conflict, but what could be what kind of a benefit I can take from this conflict? Because it might be exposing something which is a dysfunctional in the team. So I try to make use of it. So something like this. And then you can bring an example. So based on these things, you can create a example which is relatable to you, your experience, and you say, this is how I have done it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I think, yes, Saket, I think you cleared many of my doubts. I know these questions, with these questions, it is actually difficult for a Scrum Master to actually get into the mind of an interviewer, because
Yeah.
at times it might be right, at times you might be right, but the person might think that you were wrong.
Yeah.
So it's
So
very
again, there is no
subjective.
right and wrong. And I think that's a very valid point you have said. So one, the person who is giving an interview should not also get discouraged if he or she doesn't see his opinion getting appreciated by an interviewer, because the other
Right.
person may have a different way of looking at things, and they might be working in a different world. So what you need to validate here is that whatever you are presenting, how it is possibly can get interpreted. And
Right.
you may want to work in those environments only where you want a particular type of interpretation. When you see the different interpretations are happening, you may not want to work on those organizations also. So
Absolutely.
stick
Yes.
to your values, your type of desired profile, but again inspect and adapt on your answers to ensure that is it aligning with the desired profile. Am I really chasing something which I'm aspiring for, and my answers are also going in that direction? Then I think if this thing is clear, then one can find the good alignment.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
So
think,
thank
Sakit,
you.
I,
Yeah.
yeah, I appreciate your time and very thoughtful answers. And I have been continuously following you for like 6, 7 years now. Okay.
Great. Nice meeting you here. And in case after some time, if you get some more ideas, we can have such kind of conversation again, and probably this conversation also helps others because they also get to know different perspectives.
Certainly,
Yeah.
I'd love to. I'd love to.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Sakit. Have a
Yeah.
good evening.
Bye.